you're functioning from a place where everything you didn't get, you were still trying to get, to the point you created a doggone amusement park.
Right. Right.
And so, and then I think about the other brothers and their broken relationships and the things they done to each other.
They be told that they love you. Men, we grew up as like, I show them that I love them. I work hard, and I show them that I love them. You guess what? You got a lips, you got a tongue, you got a voice. You can also tell them. So I just want to jump in there because I felt that twice when you was mentioning that Michael was looking for a father and things like that. And while you're still in the land of the living, it's never too late to let your children know that you love them and show them that you love them.
Yeah. In the absence of God.
Number one, yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah. No identity.
Yeah, no identity. And so if you have no identity, you have nothing. You have nothing.
Yeah.
You are like this empty shell that is performing like a robot with not a life inside of it.
Yeah.
For hours and hours and hours that these children are on there. That to me is the highest level of neglect.
This is how we learn what real love proves. Next level marriage podcast. We're calling you to something deeper, something pure and true.
Welcome to the Next Level Marriage Podcast. I am one half of your dynamic duo. I go by the name of Dr. James Bird, and my lovely wife, she goes by the name of
Dr. Angel Bird.
And together we are
the Love Birds.
And welcome to another episode. And we believe it's going to be very interesting today. This is going to be one of those days where periodically we will take something that's maybe happening in culture, current events, or that's really popular, and put our marriage spin on it and our relationship spin on it, and see what comes out of that. And so, I think, well, if you're already at this part of the episode, you've already probably seen the title, so you already know what we're going to be talking about. But the whole world is talking about the highest grossing number one all-time biopic movie ever, and that is the movie Michael.
MJ.
So, of course, you have seen the movie. We went to the movie, I guess that was opening night, that it was out for us to be able to see. We were invited to the premiere, but we had some other obligation. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we were going to be with the whole family.
No, but we went out with a group, probably about 10 people, and had a good time and saw it. And but now we want to talk about how do we think that we would have handled Joe and Katherine Jackson's marriage, the dichotomy of it, and how he handled those boys and the raising and training and managing of their career. So before we get to that, first let me ask you, as always, do me a favor, smash that like button. Please smash it. If you're not subscribed, just take a few seconds and subscribe to the podcast. Help us get it out to more people, and share if you can. If somebody's going through things in their relationship, this is what they need to hear. Share this podcast. All right. And so I guess first of all, my first overall impression of the movie, going into it, I was ready to be critical in the sense that I'm a Michael Jackson fan, but we've seen so much. We grew up in, he's only 10 years older than us. We grew up in this era. We grew up around the Jackson 5s, Michael Jackson, all of this, at racing home after school to watch the videos on MTV. And so
I'm laughing because I didn't get to see MTV.
And so I was like, okay, what are they going to show me in this movie, first of all, like that I haven't seen, that I don't know. And so that was kind of my first thought. But from the time that the movie started, there was just a different energy to it that it was just captivating. And it wasn't about so much of what did I learn different or anything like that. It was just, it was so well done. The young Michael was amazing. And then his nephew was incredible at playing him.
They gonna give you some money for this?
And so it'd be too late because there's probably a million people who've already probably said something similar to that. But so actually, I really did enjoy the movie tremendously. And so I'll say that before we get into our thoughts on how he raised the boys and their marriage and things like that. And so, what was your take on the movie? Are you an MJ fan? You already said you didn't get to watch MTV and see the videos
No.
when you were younger.
So I grew up in California, and so no star or celebrity in California to us was ever famous. The only famous person was Michael Jackson. And so we did every dance contest, every robot there was to do. So I didn't go into the movie with a critical eye. I went in there and you watched me all the way up until it was time for the movie, that I was so pumped. I put all of these text messages in the chat with the family and prepared. I even had my glitter boots on and my glitter pants because I knew that the movie was going to be good, because it had to be better than any of the ones we saw on television.
And it was.
And it was, because some of those were good. This was 5 times better than those. And so everything that I expected, we got. And what I love the most is that it didn't give us snippets of a song. Like he did, like the whole song.
Yeah.
And when people that, I don't go to no concerts now, but when I did, it's like, oh, so you're just going to do a medley? You're just going to do a little bit and then you're going to switch to the next one? I hate concerts
Especially
like that.
when it was the popular
song that you liked. And so I'm just like, they did the thing. And it's so many people that are still critical about it, and they have the right to have their opinion. And guess what? You can't take mine away, and I felt like it was one of the best movies I've seen in like forever.
Oh, I loved it. And,
Yeah.
and I would go see it again.
You did.
I mean, even again. See, I took I have 2 brothers, and my brothers and I, we took our mother to see it on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And she thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, she told me last night.
It was great. And if you want to go see it again, we can go see it again. I mean, the movie was great, and so I really enjoyed it. And I'll share this with the audience. We tried to go back and watch the Jacksons: An American Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Now that was great at the time.
At the time.
About 5 or 6 hours, from the time that they were at Gary, Indiana, on through. And but going back watching it after seeing Michael, it was hard.
It was hard.
It was hard because the characters that played the young Michael and then the Michael, they just weren't even close to the characters that played them now. So that was something. But it did give us all these different movies and the different things that we've seen has given us some insight on the family dynamics.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I want to talk about that now. We're not talking about, I'm not saying we're talking about this as from some type of expert on what happened in their family.
Yeah.
We're really only speaking to this based upon what we've seen depicted
Yes.
in different movies and things like that. And so based upon what we've seen depicted, it has given people an opinion.
It ain't no, I'm just playing.
And we'll start with this giving people an opinion of Joe Jackson. We'll get to Katherine second. But it's giving people an opinion of Joe Jackson. And starting with myself, I think that early on in my life, I really thought that Joe Jackson was just this villain. It was like, how could you, seem like he was abusive. I don't know if he was abusive. I know he whipped his boys, but I got whoopings. And so as I look back, I don't feel like my parents was abusive. I might have felt it at the time, but I wasn't always obedient, and so I got whipped. But I saw him as just this villain. Okay, I'm not telling you yet what I think. I'm just saying early on, that's all I saw Joe Jackson was, as a villain. But now at this stage of my life, I also see Joe Jackson as, in a sense, like he's kind of like the initial hero. Not in. Okay. Oh, I felt like you was ready to hop in there. Go. You ready to hop in? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm trying to breathe. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, in a hero, in a sense that, from what I've heard about the town of Gary, Indiana, and those days and that time, and working in the steel mill, it's like it was, for most people, there was no way out of Gary, Indiana. And the life that Joe Jackson lived was probably going to be the life that his sons lived. And the house that they lived in, all of them, 9, 10, 11, however many, you got the kids plus them, was like a 4-room house. No, I didn't misspeak. I didn't miss bedroom. Not a 4-bedroom house, a 4-room house. And so it's a very tiny, unbelievable how did that many people live in a house that small. And so Joe felt like there's no way, from what I see, that there's some talent in my children. There's no way that I'm going to let this talent go to waste. And my children are going to grow up and work in the steel mill like I do. I'm going to make sure that nothing gets in the way of them becoming a great success in getting out of Gary, Indiana. And so we can talk about. I can talk about what I've heard about the beating, and they haven't shown in movies what you've heard through the grapevine that maybe it was worse. So I don't know. I don't know if he stripped them and beat them in certain ways and things like. I mean, I don't know that. But I know that without the way he pushed them, that there's a high possibility and potentially probability that we would not know about Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5s had it not been for the way Joe Jackson pushed them boys. Now I might have, if you're not liking what I'm saying, put it in the chat. If you hating at me, put your opinion in the chat. I'm giving you my opinion. You put your opinion in the chat. But so I'll start with Joe, and then I'll let you go with Joe, and then we'll move on. But so what do you think about Joe Jackson?
I think he was a nutcase. No.
Why am I not surprised? That's what you said.
Based on what I know today, he did more damage than good. I don't care if they became celebrities and stars. They were a bunch of broken people, and they were lost, and they did some crazy stuff. To watch a whole grown man play with animals over humans, you messed up some people. Not only did you mess them up mentally, but you did it physically. Joe Jackson, I believe that somewhere in there that he, even though he didn't want it for his kids, it became all about him. And he didn't care if they were sick. He didn't care about nothing. This is what we do, to a level of abuse. Even when it wasn't hitting, the mental part was so abusive that we watched a young boy that they allowed to speak out the most, because the movie was about Michael. All the movies are eventually
Right.
about Michael, regardless if it's the Jackson 5s or not. It's that you left a young boy turning into a grown man wishing he had a daddy. So you were present in the home, but you gave him nothing for manhood. And we can say things like, well, he had a work ethic, or he had those type of things that he had, but he had them out of fear that turned into perfection. because that's what he said. He all of his life he strived to be perfect. That drove him to some places that he wouldn't have went normally on his own. So I have so many thoughts and opinions concerning Job being a father. I wonder what they would have turned out like if he would have been a different man or not there at all.
I think and I want to get to that.
You know?
I want to get to that a little later in the episode.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. But my opinion today, based on what I know about identity and what I know about love and what I know what a father looks like, and he introduced religion. But why would I want to hear or serve the God he was trying to give me when only motto I had was you? And so I just think that in his eyes, I believe he thought he was doing the best thing for them. But the outcome was horrifying.
And so I'm glad you talked about that, and that's another place I want to get to, because more than likely, based on the way they depicted in the movie and some things that he said in different movies, Michael and the American Dream, more than likely the way that he handled them was based upon the way he was handled by his father.
Absolutely.
And so, for the most part, he only gave them who he was and the best that he could do. Now, I'm not saying that to say that it's okay, or that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that understand. I agree with you that he was giving them just the best he can. But where I want to go is another place I wanted to go based upon what you said is that I think we all agree that their childhood traumatized them, especially let's talk about Michael. Michael was traumatized. And the reason we're talking about this because this is marriage, this is relationships, this is part of marriage is raising children and things like that. And so we want to be a blessing in all aspects of the marriage and the family. And so a lot of times Joseph gets publicly the most flack for beating the boys. But I don't personally feel like the beating of the kids was the thing that was most traumatic to them and to their family. I think it was the not being able to call him daddy. Not being able to get a hug and show love and things like that. It's one thing to push me. It's even one thing to discipline me. But to push me and to discipline me in absence of what seems like love and affection, that's what makes it so much more difficult. And I think the trauma was greater from the fact that they didn't get the chance to experience the love of a father, And back then, a lot of men didn't think that they needed to show that because that was the mother's job. The mother's role was to show that, And we'll get into her once we've exhausted him. But so, what do you think about what most traumatized Michael and
the very thing
kids?
Michael said to Barry Gordon was, "I wish you were my father," and then the letter that he wrote to his bodyguard to say, "You are my daddy." He was always longing for love and affection from his father that he never got. And so he got it the best way he could, and that was through other people that really wasn't probably equipped because Barry had his own family.
Man,
And the security guard was doing his job.
Yeah.
Even though he was there for every event of Michael's life, he was still doing his job. And so to yearn something so deeply, even when they were doing great, you seen the glimpse of a smile here when he was away. He wasn't up close. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
He was standing there watching them performing because in his eyes, they were doing a great job, that he had a smile on his face and he celebrated. But how about when they came home from performing and getting the deal from Motown, all of those things, the very thing you did was, y'all get down here, and then you go in. There was never any encouragement according to the movies.
Right. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
We're only talking about what's been depicted in
Throughout
these films.
Years
yes.
of this. Somebody's telling.
And the boys, and that's
Yeah.
what Michael said. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
somebody's telling. And Jermaine and Jackie and all of them are still alive right now. So if that wasn't true, what they put in there, they could have said, don't do that to my
right,
daddy.
right.
You know, and so I just look at it in such a way of the void and the absence of love, any shape, form, or fashion from a man.
Yeah.
That, you know,
Okay, that's
that
the
they
second
could
time
have.
you mentioned it. I have to jump in. You know, I used to didn't be much of a filler. And you've said this twice, and I felt it so deeply both times. And so I just want to speak to any men that are out there watching this right now. Your children need more from you than just bringing home a paycheck. Your children need more from you than just discipline them, spanking them, or something when they get out of line. Your children need to know who they are, and they need to feel your love. They need to be hugged by you. They need to be told that they love you. You know, men. You know, we grew up as like, I show them that I love them. I work hard, and I show them that I love them. You guess what? You got a lips, you got a tongue, you got a voice. You can also tell them. So I just want to jump in there because I felt that twice when you was mentioning that Michael's looking for a father and things like that. And while you're still in the land of the living, it's never too late to let your children know that you love them and show them that you love them.
Yeah. And if you did not have godly parents or parents who deemed to be godly, and you lived in a house. I remember one time we were talking or counseling this young man, and he said, I don't talk now because I never was talked to. I never had my father to talk to me or express, and I lived in the house with him, and he never said words. How in the world are you going to produce a healthy human in that kind of environment?
Yeah.
And you hear it constantly. And so we're trying to blend families and get with other people, and you don't know the history and where they're coming from. And then you marry them and say, I've been married to this man. I can't do it. I'm getting a divorce. He never talks to me. He never checks on me. He's never concerned about me. He's never, 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 never. And it's just like, there's not an alarm that goes off. It appears that when people say they connect with Jesus, that part of them change. Because for some reason they think it's normal and it's okay to be that way.
Because it has been their
That
norm.
that's been their normal. And then what we do is do what mama and them did or what daddy did. And that's not always the right way to raise your children. I always say everybody shouldn't raise their kids like mama and them, because look what it did to you. And look how it affects you and how you're functioning in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so the damage, when I think about Michael, yeah, he called himself getting married, didn't keep a relationship.
Nope.
Because guess what? Michael could have had any woman he wanted to. But because of the way he mentally saw the world, how was he going to keep them?
Wait, and
Like you were going to make them go back to childhood or something?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like you're functioning from a place where everything you didn't get, you were still trying to get, to the point you created a doggone amusement park.
Right. Right.
And so, and then I think about the other brothers and their broken relationships and the things they done to each other.
And the sisters' broken
and their
relationships,
sisters.
yeah.
And I mean, it's just like, you're the Jacksons. You can be married to whoever you want to, but you still couldn't keep a relationship. Why? Because you saw such a broken relationship.
Between Joe and Catherine.
Yes, between them plus y'all.
And y'all, yeah.
So you never seen anything healthy. So I don't care who dons the platform of a stage that's making $50 million, $500 million. It doesn't matter if you're not a healthy human.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and then that brings me, you're talking about the wife, that brings me to Catherine. Based upon what's been depicted about her through these movies and films and things like that, she has the reputation of either being too passive and too silent and too quiet, or was she the backbone. Was she like, I want my boys love this. They want to perform. They want to do this stuff. But if I know it could be worse if I leave or something, who knows? I don't. I know she's still alive and she says some things. But based upon what's been depicted in the movies, it seemed like she didn't speak up enough. I can't. I'm not even gonna say it seems like. We know that more than likely she didn't because of how they turned out, and how they felt
Yeah.
about Joseph. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think you wait till they become adults to say,
right.
they grown
Yeah,
now, Joseph.
yeah. What you gonna do? Whoop
What you
them
gonna do?
now?
Whoop them
Yeah,
now? No, I don't know and so I have to now go into a place of, I don't know her educational level. I don't know where she come from. I don't know her thoughts. And I got 9 kids. Where in the world
yeah,
am I going to take these kids? Because then when I did leave, I went to my mama's house.
yeah. We already poor here in
Poor.
Gary,
Yeah.
Indiana, in this
Yeah. So,
shack. Yeah,
I mean, so I have to take all of those things into consideration because I can always say what I would have done.
yeah. It's easy to judge
It's
somebody. Yeah,
easy to say what you would have done, but I wasn't built personally to watch no one harm my children. Watch them get beat in the same house and nothing is done. I wasn't built that way. And so, but I see it, I counsel it, I know it exists, I know this is what people do. I said some things last night where people want to be in a relationship so bad that they watch certain things be done to their daughters. Know it was done, but they want that man so bad because they don't want to be alone. So if a mother is not going to protect her child from knowing that this man is sleeping with their baby and molesting their daughter, then what woman leaving the man because they beating their kid?
right, right.
They're just not doing it.
Yeah.
And once again, it shows the brokenness in the state of her. And that I don't know if she was just as afraid of him as they were.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
I
a good
don't
question.
know if
Yeah.
she was because they're not showing all of the whole life. You see, because
We've never seen anything that shows that he was abusive to her.
no. So if you wasn't abusive to me, and I have zero fear of you, because the one movie that we saw that was 5 hours long that they did 2 different of it, Angela Bassett played like she wasn't scared.
Right.
But then Nia Long was a little bit more timid
Yeah.
and more laid back in the situation. And so I just can't imagine knowing that if the things that we've heard from stripping them down and beating them and doing that stuff, that you were able to just go to sleep, walk away from that, knowing that it was going to be done over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so,
Man, it's.
yeah.
I'm going back. It's because we're talking about family, raising kids. It has to be some type of hangover from slavery days that would allow parents to just beat and bruise and
Ingrained.
and I know it starts from, I know this is what happened to me. This is how it happened to me. And so this, if you're out of line, this is what I'm going to do to you. And so I know that's how that kind of thing carry on. But at some point, we got to get to the point to say, wait a minute, there's a way to discipline, and it's okay. Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. So we're not saying you can't spank your children or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between spanking your children and beating them. There's a difference between disciplining them and not loving and not showing love and making them fearful of you.
Yeah. I don't think any parent that didn't experience it or didn't experience slavery would go tell their child to go get their own switch off of a tree. And I'm now getting ready to know that when I hit you with this, I'm getting ready to bruise you.
Yeah, because you need to put your pants down, because I don't want to hit your pants. I want to hit your skin.
Why would you do the same thing to your kid that you despise
When you were a
that
kid.
was happening to other people when you watch a movie? Yeah. Or if you were living in those times, why would you do the same thing, because I think about the patterns, and I'm all for respect. Our children have said it for all their life, ma'am, yes, ma'am. But we all know where it stems from and goes back to the same place of them getting beat and whipped. And so when I think about you turned around after getting free and start doing this to your own kids. And then this generation just kept it up. Whatever you can get, whether it's the racing car track thing, whether it's a switch, an extension card, like, that's not okay.
No, it's not.
Like, it's not okay.
Because our kids are here for us to train them,
Man.
not to treat them like slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And to harm them.
yeah.
And so it's not like I've always been in the position that I'm in. I may not have lived in a 4-room house, but even during those times, I don't care who you would have been. There's no way would I have ever allowed somebody to do that to my kids. And I even think about when my son was growing up, let me say our son was growing up, because sometimes people think it's blended. When our children was growing up, and I think about our son, and I used to feel at times when you guys did sports together, that's just too much. And I don't want his spirit to be broken. And I don't want him to feel like he has to perform or do it. You know what I'm saying? All of those things. And we had communication towards it. And you even said to me, I need to be careful how I handle my son, because I don't want your heart to close towards me, because I'm going to always protect my babies. I don't care how old they get in the land of the living. I'm going to always protect them with my life. And so I remember us having those conversations and the adjustments and stuff that needed to be made and was made.
And I think there's some dichotomy there. This was us. This is how we handle it. Because there was a certain stage in my son's life where I wanted him to be pushed harder, because I knew he needed to be pushed harder, but I didn't want it to break the relationship hurt the relationship between me and him, because we have such a great relationship. So I passed him along to another coach to push him, and then these other coaches begin to push him. But there are stories of parents outside of Joe Jackson that seemingly pushed their kids hard to greatness. Venus and Serena Williams,
Tiger Woods.
No, Tiger Woods. But I was trying to think of Venus and Serena's dad's name. I don't know why it slipped my mind or whatever. But him, Tiger Woods. Now, in all these cases, it sounds like these kids enjoyed that sport, just like the Jacksons say, as though they said, we love performing, we love doing it, whatever. We didn't we wanted to also play sometimes and go out. We didn't want to be beat and stuff, all of that.
There was just no balance.
But there was no balance. And so, but there are, it is understood that, boys need to be pushed and because they're going to be husbands one day and they're going to be fathers one day themselves or whatever. But that's why also they need to be loved.
Absolutely.
So that they know how to show love to their children.
Yeah. And I think the word
wife.
push and the word strength are two different things. Because what does it truly mean when they need to be pushed? No, they need to be trained in the ways of how they were created in their identity. And most people didn't know how to do that. So they pushed in a different way. But if you would have came into the relationship, or the Serena's daddy or whoever would have came into the relationship, it was in our 20s or whatever, the way you pushed then, you wouldn't dare push like that today. Because you learn things about yourself. I learned things about myself. You know what I'm saying? And so what does that really mean when I push them? What place did you push them from?
Yeah, I think that's the key, because I believe that who I am today, I believe that I could actually push my son harder with who I am today, but in a better way. It'd be more about teaching him to understand that pain is not your enemy. Don't try to be comfort. Don't look for comfort all the time. If you want to be better, if you want to be great,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to push through the pain. You
Yeah.
gotta, you gotta get up early. You gotta run next. You gotta work harder than what other people are working if you want to be better than
Yeah.
them or whatever. And so, pushing them in that sense versus, just a yelling and
Yeah.
screaming or
And
something.
then making
or,
them second guess themselves or
Yeah.
feel like they're not good enough.
Yeah.
Those things are causing wounds
Right.
and scars. And then they become adults. You're like, why are you acting like that? Why are you always defending yourself? Why are you always protecting yourself? It's coming from a place that was put in them based on unhealthy pushing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just think that, whoa, it's amazing what growth and serving God will do.
Yeah, I think we just naturally in this conversation migrated into what I wanted to eventually get to, which was what would have been a better balance in what seemingly with the Jacksons or with any parents and their children as far as pushing them. And I think we've kind of touched on it. And so I feel like for me now, knowing that what's so important is teaching my children who they are and whose they are
Yeah,
over what they're trying to achieve or accomplish.
absolutely.
And I want to help you. If this is what you say you love and you love to do this and this is what you say you want to be, then I want to let you know that, hey, there are thousands of others who are saying they want to be the same thing. And so if you want to be better than them at it, you can't be lazy. You got to work harder and things like that. But always getting them to know that you're loved, that you're great, that my love for you is not based upon how well you do in some
Yes.
sporting event
Yeah,
or on some stage or some performance. Listen, if you get up there and you can't sing a lick and you crack your voice and everybody laugh at you, that's not going to change my love for you at all. And if singing's not the thing for you, then we'll do something else. But you're going to know that you're loved. You're going to know that God loves you, and you're going to know that there are gifts and talents in you that God has given you, and you can go to the top and be the best in them.
Yeah.
And so I think that as long as that is the mainstay, then
Yeah.
balance can come.
yeah. Instead of when they get done playing ball, the first thing comes is correction. You could have did it like this differently. You could have made that shot differently. That right there is affecting their mental, like instantly. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, let me just, I hated it. And so it's like, wow.
Yeah, and you learn these things from that was like me and my son. We had I taught him that we're going to use the Michael Jordan rule. Now, why? Because Michael Jordan we thought was the greatest basketball player of all time or whatever. So we thought we were going to use the Michael Jordan rule. That means that we're going to immediately talk about the things that you could have worked on, you could have did better, you could have did like that, and then we're going to forget about that. And then we're going to move on and talk about what was good, and then prepare to the next. And the idea is hopefully is that I pay attention to what I could have done or should have done, whatever better, and then let it go, and then I'll move on. But not understanding that that's not a blanket way that you can be. Every child's personality
It's
matters,
different, yeah.
and different children have different personalities and things like that. And some kids they can handle it, and some kids
It
they
breaks
can't.
them.
Some kids they may love doing a sport, but they may not have the drive within them to do what it takes to be the greatest at the sport or whatever. So if they don't you try to make them the greatest, because make it about you. Like we said,
Yeah.
at some point, Joe Jackson's saying seemed to become about him
Yeah.
versus about the boys.
Yeah.
And so this thing about parenting and your children, it should never be about you. It should be about them.
Yeah.
And so, but that's unless you get it, unless you're taught right, and things like that, it's hard to understand that as a youngster.
Yeah.
Now being 58 years old, and I have a son that's 29. We have a son that's 29. When he finds a wife and he has a child, then we already can have these talks and discussions and things like that, so that he understands that, hey, I can find out what my kids love to do, help, point them in that direction, but also make sure that I'm understanding what their personality is,
Yeah.
how they're bent, and point them to who they are and whose they are, and you'll get a better product out. Because what some people are like, well, who cares that Michael Jackson sometimes regurgitated whenever he heard his daddy coming or something like that? He became the biggest pop star in the world or whatever.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, because most this world is centered around how rich and how famous you become.
Yep.
So that's the outcome for them.
Yep.
And I am looking at you are an unhealthy citizen. In the way that you're going, you may not even enter into the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so my eye view is completely different than the things I thought when I was 20.
Yeah.
Ooh, what if he becomes this and what if this become this? No, why do you want them famous so bad?
Yeah.
Because it's not just about them for you to want them to be so famous.
Right.
I'd rather for my child to work a 9 to 5 and be healthy and love God than to be on the largest stage in the world and go home and lonely and think about killing himself on a regular basis.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what we are producing today.
Yeah. Some people think that just having the money is the end all to be all.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's not the truth, because when you look at so many people who that have the most money, their lives are
Oh my
a
God.
mess.
No one's faithful. No one's loyal. Their children are all screwed up. When you look
Yeah.
at celebrities, it's just like, what in the world?
So money is not the end all to
No.
be all. Money affords you not to have to stress over paying your bills or something like that. It affords you to live in a nicer home or
Yeah.
something like that. But the striving that people have for money and the love of
Yeah.
money, it never allows people to be satisfied.
No.
Most people. And
It's
so
like-
they're always striving to get more and more and bigger and bigger and greater and greater. And so there's no contentment
Yeah.
there. And so
Yeah.
it's a dangerous thing that this society and this culture pushes people towards fame
Yeah.
and success and
In the absence of themselves, in the absence of God.
number one. Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah. No identity.
Yeah, no identity. And so if you have no identity, you have nothing. You have nothing.
Yeah.
You are like this empty shell that is performing like a robot with not a life inside of it.
Yeah.
Because identity is everything.
It's everything.
Because guess what? The ones who have identity based on trauma, they display it. The ones who have identity from God, they display it. Those who have trauma from their past of things that happened to them that they don't give to God, they are still walking it out. Why? Because they have taken on that as part of their identity and they live there.
Yeah.
And I always keep saying is if God made you a new creation in Christ Jesus, then why are you still trying to invite and welcome the old you into this relationship?
Exactly.
And it's just like, why do you even want them to come? You know how much pain it costs.
Yeah.
And how much hurt it costs you over the time. And if God came to set you free and for you can leave her over there, leave her over there.
Right.
And it's like, that's the hardest thing for most people to do.
Oh, absolutely. Man, listen, if you've gotten to this far in the episode and you haven't smashed that like button, please, come on, smash that like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and share this information. And don't forget to comment. We want to know what your thoughts are and what your opinions are about the whole Joe and Katherine Jackson relationship. Do you think that he was a hero? Do you think he was a villain? Do you think she was too passive, or do you think that she was the quiet backbone? You tell us. What do you think? What was a good, healthy balance, or should have been a good, healthy balance for them, and that we can all learn from today? And so, you got
It's
any
obvious.
closing
Well, I
thoughts
don't know
about it?
because I don't know what conversations they had or how they truly feel about their mom, because it appears that they adore her.
Yeah, it does.
You see what I'm saying?
And the grandchildren
All
do.
yeah, everybody. And so, yeah.
And didn't she get his assets, or didn't she get
Yeah, Michael left. I mean,
Michael left,
yeah,
yeah.
for her, and his kids or whatever. But it's like, how would I would have felt to know that you were there and you knew that he was beating me? How would I feel about you?
Well, the way they depicted it in the movie was that we know that you couldn't you couldn't control Joseph.
No.
That was what they said in the movie. You couldn't control Joseph.
Yeah.
So, because she tried to apologize to Michael that she allowed that this happened or whatever, and she was like, first he was like, "We're not having this conversation," and then later he was like, nobody can control Joseph. You couldn't control him. Nobody.
So
could
maybe
control
that's how
him.
they saw it from that perspective, is that nobody could,
Yeah.
you know. But he shortly found out as they aged out that once they hearts felt love or wanting to
Right.
be in a marriage, they saw that the control that he thought he had, he
Right.
didn't have.
They bolted for what they felt was love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all did. And so, whew, that was, I mean, I just couldn't imagine the suffering just to be famous.
No.
I couldn't imagine the suffering. So the only thing that I would say is that, yes, there's structure and order in a family, and God has his way of how he sets it up. But it's never okay for someone to violate a child, and in the sense to say, well, he's their father, or he's the head of this household, and allow something like that to take place. At that point, order is over.
Yeah.
And no way.
No.
That's not submissive.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't know how to be a father, then find out. It's not okay just to
Guess what you
damage your
can
children
today.
like that.
You can today. I mean, because when I think about the most important thing in the world, and that is marriage and family, outside of God, and those are the two things that most people don't study about, and that they don't get information about. I can gather.
You know, if they ain't getting information about God, they ain't getting information about marriage and family.
Yeah, I can line 100 people up and ask them when the last time they read a marriage book, and probably maybe one person will raise their hand. That's how low it is when I ask people, and we're somewhere speaking and we're doing marriage conferences, and you ask them, these people don't get no information. They just live this life.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so sad to watch.
It is. It is. But so, you know, it's been fun to talk about it, you know, and try to give some insights and on what we feel would be best for handling, you know, these type of topics in marriage and raising your children. And sometime down the road in the future, and based upon your questions you may have or things like that, we'll talk about children and raising them small, teenagers, and the adjustments that you should make when they become adults. Themselves. You know,
Man,
and
yeah,
so,
because I have so much to say about the things that I see today. And even if you're not hollering and screaming and you don't feel you're abusive, I am saying it on this podcast. I watch parents be so abusive with these tablets and these phones for hours and hours and hours that these children are on there. That, to me, is the highest level of neglect. That you will leave your child to something on a pad that almost seems like it's pulling them in to this place, and you are content and satisfied because they're not bothering you.
Newsflash, raising children is work.
It is not easy.
It takes all of your time and all of your attention. You go from being single, a couple, to a family, and that going from a couple to a family, it takes away all the freedom that you used to have. Life begins to be about someone who is now dependent on you.
Yeah.
And based upon the product that you want at 21 or 18, it depends on what you start doing with them when they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that's what you're speaking to when you talk about how we just want to keep them busy.
Yeah.
And so we can get some woosah, and so maybe we can enjoy ourselves or watch what we want to watch or do what we want to do. No, life's not. That's not what life's about. It's about giving them the time, the energy, the effort, teaching them. You are training them. You're not just feeding them, changing them.
Let's go to bed.
No. You are training. You are raising. You are speaking life and identity in them. And if you don't do it more than the tablet does it, then they are going to get it from the tablet. Yeah. And you might say, okay, what I got them watching on the tablet is not something bad. But here's the thing. You're getting dependent on the tablet at such a young age that now they're going to be dependent upon that. So as they grow, the things that they watch are going to change.
Absolutely.
They're not going to keep watching the same thing on the tablet at 7 that they was watching when they was 2. And at 14, they're not going to keep watching the same thing on the tablet that they was at 7.
And they know more about how to get in them and do things on them than we do.
Yes.
And so it's
it's
just
your fault that you got them dependent on the tablet.
That they feel almost withdrawals if they're not able to get on them.
Yeah. So we kind of made this into another. We add something on to this already. We're going to go ahead and end this today. So again, how would you have handled Joe and Katherine Jackson's marriage? This has been another episode of Next Level Marriage Podcast, where I'm one half of your dynamic duo. I go by the name of Dr. James Bird, and my lovely wife goes by the name of
Dr. Angel Bird.
And together we are the Love Birds. We'll see you next week. Smash that like.
This is how we learn what real love proves. Next Level Marriage Podcast. We're calling you to something deeper, something pure and true.